Hey there, guys. I had a bit of a false start on this episode. I got about halfway through and then realized that I had set up the Nemesis deck wrong again. So I decided to kind of restart. So this time we're fighting the Nemesis Arachnos, who has an interesting mechanic. He has this track over here, and whenever he unleashes, he moves this along the track. If this reaches the end of the track, then depending on how many Nemesis tokens he has, um, Arachnos, like for example, if he has 0 Nemesis tokens, he kind of spawns this World Devourer at tier 0. This goes all the way up to tier 9 plus. Um, and obviously that one's a whole lot scarier looking than this one. And depending on how much life Arachnos had, the World Devourer has that much life, basically. So we want to... It's essentially a phase 2 of the boss, because once we defeat that World Devourer, we win. And if we ever defeat Arachnos, then he loses a Nemesis token and we spawn the World Devourer. So I've also done some cleaning up here. I prefer these HP counters because I can tick them up and down by doing left and right clicks. I also got shield tokens and power tokens like that, and obviously the Nemesis tokens. And I made a little graveyard for our destroyed cards because I think it's more fun than a little crystal thing they had there. On our turn, also, we can interact with this by spending Aether equal to wherever the token currently is, so like 3 Aether in this case, in order to move it back a space. Or we spend 4 Aether here to move it back a space. Obviously, we can't move it back from the start. The caveat is whenever we get here and it moves forward to this space, Arachnos gains a Nemesis token. So if we're there and I'm like, okay, I'll spend 2 Aether to bump it back, well, next time he unleashes and moves it forward, he gets another Nemesis token. So that's no good. So that's a Nemesis we're dealing with today. The market, you saw at the end of the last video, I swapped in the Riddle Spear and Consuming Void. I didn't get quite far enough to actually use them in my false start. And then I also got Zana's Fleeting Ember for Zana, which is essentially Eternal Ember, but the prep spell has to cost 4 or less if I want to copy it. And then for Brahma, we picked up Mazahedron's World Heart Shard because I love the idea of having Brahma bring up her economy a whole lot and then just buy things for Zana. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little late in the game by that point for Mazahedron's World Heart Shard to really do anything, but yeah. So, like I said, I messed up this Nemesis deck. That makes it 2 games in a row, but I decided to go ahead and replay this whole mission. I only got about half an hour into it previously. And let me make sure I've covered everything here. If we ever defeat Arachnos, we go down 1 Nemesis token and then spawn a World Devourer. And Arachnos doesn't have a Nemesis phase anymore, technically. His Nemesis phase is just doing whatever the World Devourer says. He doesn't draw anymore. All the powers and minions that were out here just go away. And even once a once a token gets here and the ritual is complete, if there's anything else on the card, you just don't even resolve it. Like, everything just goes away immediately. Like, you don't even bother resolving the rest of the card. And there's one more thing about if a player is exhausted when the World Devourer is in play. Normally, when that happens, the Nemesis unleashes twice. But if the World Devourer is in play, the idea is Arachnos has transformed into this giant evil spider thing. So his regular unleash of moving this forward doesn't make any sense anymore. So instead, the World Devourer just eats you when it gains 10 life. That's how I interpret that. Okay, so I like to kind of have a plan for my mages for the first couple of turns. Zana's first turn is always going to be using these 4 crystals to gain 4 ether, flip this breach over so that we have a place to cast from. That's just Zana's best move. Her second move might be working on opening this breach. She'll have 4 crystals in hand, so she might work towards that. Brahma's first move, however, I'm going to do it a little differently than how I did in my little trial run. She's probably going to focus that first, and then on the second hand, she's essentially going to have 4 to buy something for Zana. I think she's going to buy her Reverberating Shock and get that in circulation as quickly as possible. So that's a game plan for the first couple of turns for each of them. I think I've covered everything. Okay. It's hard to tell because I've done this once already, and I don't know. I don't know what I covered then and what I covered now. So let's go. We'll start off strong with a. There we go. I always make that mistake. There we go. That's really not my problem. Okay, we go again. We'll deal 2 damage. I know last episode, I ignored this extra damage on cast on Brahma's Breach. Maybe 2 or 3 times. That is what happens there. And then for 4, I'm going to prep that. I'm going to focus that. And then she's not going to get a turn again this round, so. Nemesis. Bane Commander. Okay, so this is another cool thing about Expedition, is there are upgraded basic cards. So typically, when constructing the Nemesis deck in regular gameplay, you mix the Nemesis-specific Nemesis cards with some basic Nemesis cards that are more general and don't have to do with the specific mechanics of the boss in order to form the Nemesis deck. In Expedition mode, as you go along the battles, some of the basic Nemesis cards that you add to the specific Nemesis cards are replaced with upgraded basic cards. So, for example, for Battle 2, of the 3 Tier 1 basic cards we have here, one of them is an upgraded basic card, and it actually turns out to be Bane Commander right here. Unleash, any player suffers damage, 6 health. That's relatively dangerous for a Tier 1 card. And as you can see, by Battle 4, all of the basic cards, for a 2-player anyway, turn into upgraded basic cards. There is one caveat. never add more basic Nemesis cards than the number of basic cards you normally use. So if you're going true solo instead of two-handed solo like I am, you still only construct the deck using this many basic cards. They just all happen to be upgraded basic cards. Okay. So that, in addition to just in general, these bosses are a little harder than these bosses, and these bosses are a little harder than these bosses, creates a sense of growing power, growing danger of the nemesis. So anyway, that was the nemesis turn, was just to draw that, basically. Gonna prep this. Okay. Alrighty, next. Nemesis. Unleash. Any player suffers 1 damage. We'll give that to Zana. It doesn't really matter this early in the game, but... Alright. So now I have 4. I could have 5 if I wanted to give Zana a card, and I know I said that I wanted to give Zana a card, but I think instead I'm going to open this breach for 4. That almost works. Okay. Yeah, so that we can at least cast all the spells in hand, because Brahma's hand gets pretty clogged if you don't have multiple breaches open, is what I discovered. I wonder what's on top of the deck. Brahma goes again. We got 3 damage. I'm gonna hit the Bane Commander with that. So we'll prep that there. We have 4 now. Let's see. I think you buy yourself a Riddle Spear. Maybe. See, Riddle Spear is interesting, actually. Interesting. I didn't notice that earlier, but you can do something a little weird with that. I'll show you when it comes back in hand. Okay. Nemesis. Unleash. Someone takes a damage. That's going to be Brahma this time. I should get tokens for them like that too, but oh well. And then draw a card. Power 2. Unleash. Arachnos gains 1 Nemesis token. I don't want that to happen. What are the chances that I'm going to have 5 in hand? I think it's literally 100%. The rest of the crystals are in here. So, okay. I need... That could happen, I guess. 2 damage to the Bane Commander. Prep that. And for 4, we buy a Reverberating Shock. Oh, darn. No, we're fine. No, we're not. I goofed that up. That's okay. Nemesis. Unleash. Someone takes a damage. We're almost there. Brahma this time. And ticked that down to 1. Draw another card. The Chanters. So this one's kind of dangerous. Arachnos gains a Nemesis token. I don't know how much more powerful each iteration is, but I don't want them sticking around to find out, you know. So we're going to deal 2 damage to the Chanters with this. Prep 2 Sparks. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. For 4, I can make it 5. Yeah, Okay, I'm going to make it 5 to give her reverberating shock. And by the way, this is on top of any allies discard pile, so Zana is the ally of Brahma. That's any other player, basically. So I kind of want these two together. That's why I did that. Okay, so we deal 2 damage with this. And get rid of those guys before we got any Nemesis tokens. Prep that. And with 4, I think we open this. Alright. I messed that up a little bit, but that's okay. I never put these in the discard pile. And do a new hand for you. Oh, interesting. I was wrong. There's a little spear there. That's fine. I can still do this because this is really weird. I'm going to use these crystals 2 at a time to gain a charge. So I gain 2 charges. And then I'll use this to lose 2 charges to gain 5 Aether. And get rid of that. But that's after, of course, I spark you for 1. And I know that it matters what order they go in. And I spark you for 2 with my upgraded breach there. Okay, that's how I'll discard that. So Brahma got a little bit of work done there, huh? Riddle Sphere is deceptively good. I think it's secretly a gem in disguise. That's a real riddle. Nemesis. If players collectively discard 4 cards. You know? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to cast that. I'm going to prep this. I'd love to have these in the other way around, but I just shuffled that. Rewind time. I can undo this. We're fine. Like I said in the last episode, I instinctively shuffle everything that's apparently not the Nemesis deck. So, there's that. Bolster. Arachnos gains 1 Nemesis token, or Unleash. Any player suffers 3 damage. I'm taking the 3 damage. I want to totally keep him from having any Nemesis tokens. 2. Now we're getting to a point where I'm starting to get worried about this ritual. Because I don't want that to come out too early. I'm definitely prepping these. I'm going to prep them like this, though, because I might decide that I want to save this, in which case I want the extra damage coming out of this for sure, while I'm saving this for something else. I have 3. I could just knock it back 1. I don't have much else to do with it. I could focus my number 3 breach. Yeah, I'm going to knock this back 1. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Number 1. And so this is an interesting situation, and I'm not sure exactly how this works. So I cast one of your prep spells that cost 4 or less without discarding it. So, okay, here's how I read it. +1 damage on cast applies to this, and even though this isn't dealing damage, I do know that this still deals +1 damage on cast, so I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. I don't think it triggers off of the echo twice. So I've cast this now, and now I'm casting this, and it's its own separate situation over here. So now I deal 2 damage, and I have 2 extra Aether to gain cards with. That gives me 5. Let's pick up a Pain Conduit. Yeah, I want those in the same hand, definitely. Okay. That's how I read that. Now, I could still just have Arcane Charge with the extra 2 from, like I had 2 from that, 1 from this in order to gain the Pain Conduit, and then these 2 I just gain a charge with it. That's what happened. I'm sticking to it. Okay, you go again. This time I got it right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I cast it and do 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And then I have 7 with which to gain a card. I'm picking up Consuming Void. I'm trying to decide if I'll even use it yet. Because I will want to probably open this breach before I do. Weird hand. Okay. Nemesis. Howling spiders. Spinners, excuse me. Any player suffers 2 damage. That's a little dangerous. Let's prep some stuff here. So I'm applying this here, and that there, and that there. And then I'm gaining a charge because I don't have anything better to do with 2 mana. I don't believe. Shoot. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. So let's see. I can deal 3 damage. Yeah, I'll deal 3 damage to the Howling Spinner. That. And then I have 1 Aether, 2, 3, 4 Aether. I could make it 5 Aether if I really wanted. But 4 is enough to just open this. 5's enough to focus both of these twice. And I would make it 5 Aether by spending 4 to gain 2 charges and then using the Riddle Sphere to lose 2 charges to gain 5 Aether. So I spend 4 Aether to use a Riddle Sphere to gain 5 Aether. That's how that works. I could theoretically charge up charges from other hands if I didn't want to. If I wanted to. Which wouldn't be a bad idea because then I could have a massive, like this would be a 9 gain hand. I definitely cast that. I'm still thinking about what to do with 4/5 Aether. Let's treat it as 4 for now and gain a charge with the Riddle Sphere. I'm thinking I'd just bump this back. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this Riddle Sphere goes with the Buried Light. Well, all of these go with the Buried Light anyway. Okay. Coolio. Nemesis. Any player suffers 2 damage. That's you, Brahma. Sorry about that. Oh, and then you still draw a card. Awaken. Unleash twice and Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Or place the most recently discarded minion card in the Nemesis discard pile back into play. I think that was... Yeah, I don't want Bane Commander again. So unleash twice, tick tick. Gravehold takes 3 damage. Not a big deal. Oh, and then player 2. I just forgot to, yeah. Okay. Hit him for 2. Cast the spark. And what do I have? I have 4. With which I'm going to open this. Yeah, sure. Or I could gain 2 charges. I love that idea way more. Gain 2 charges. What's in there? Okay, these all just kind of go together then. I don't quite have 9 there. I have 8, which is fine. 1. Okay, we're about to deal some good damage here. Okay, so I cast this. It goes 2-4, plus an additional 2 damage each. So 4-8. And then this is discarded. And then it goes 2-4 again. So I have 4, 5, 6 with which to buy a card. Yeah, I can't really do anything else. I could maybe gain a charge and buy something for 4. I'd really love to move this back some, but this can only be used towards gaining cards, and I only have 2 crystals. I can't even prep all the spells in my hand. I'm going to gain a Riddle Spear. And a charge. With my Aether. That relies on destroying 4 cards in the hand. What's in that deck? 4 crystals and a spark. No? That doesn't make sense. Oh, duh, there's no spark, so just 4 crystals. Okay. That's 12 damage, but I've destroyed 4 sparks and removed them from the rotation entirely. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. But they're kind of, I need them to open this breach. Okay. So I'm going to keep consuming Void for now. And work on opening that breach. Meanwhile, 2 damage, plink plink. Cast that. What's your next hand looking like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting 4, huh? Yeah. Cast that there. Now Riddle Spear. I either have 3 Aether, or I have 8 Aether. Okay, I have 8 Aether. Using Riddle Spears, lose 2 charges, and I go 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. I almost hit the shuffle button again anyway. Okay. So 2, 4, 6, 8 damage. Brahma might need to start pulling some damage cards. What's going to be in the next hand here? 2 crystals? That's fine. And I have 1 Aether left. Store 2 cards in hand, huh? It's fine. I was seeing a play where if I kept an Aether in hand, then added with these other 2 Aether, I could focus this again and we'd be fine, but that would mean keeping the Consuming Void here or destroying 2 of these cards instead. I don't really want to do that. Okay, unleash twice, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. And the player with the most expensive prep spell discards that spell. Well, should have done that, huh? Oh well. Nemesis. Unleash the player with the most charges loses 3 charges and suffers 3 damage. A different player discards 3 cards in hand. Most charges. You lose 3 charges and take 3 damage. Meanwhile, you have to discard 3 cards in hand. I'm okay with discarding that. And these, I think. This just gives me a little bit more options. Okay. Oh, that's fine. We're going to get hit with those at some point anyway. Buried Light. Or hold on. This is a different situation from when I said, oh yeah, I'll just cast Buried Light. I have 1, 2, 3. Or I have 2. Or I could have 4 and give something to you. No, actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a Branching Radite. The amount of time we have Zana's Fleeting Ember and Reverberating Shock, or the Eternal Ember and Reverberating Shock online is pretty often, so... One. Okay. Prep those. Pain Conduit there. Gain a charge, I guess. Makes Riddle Spear easier to use. Yeah. Yeah, okay. 1. So we do 4, 8. And discard that. And then 2, 4. Okay, I'm feeling really comfortable with where we are against this boss right now. I could use a little bit more help on Zana, but... Okay, and then we have 4 just for gaining cards, which I don't really want to gain cards. And if I do that for a charge token, by the way, this is a no-brainer as well. I do that for a charge token, then I have 5 from the Riddle Spear. I'm going to tick that back 1. And gain a charge token with the other 2. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we split this one up. Shoot. That's a pretty bad hand, huh? It's okay. So all of these are going together anyway. Two. Okay. We can Riddle Spear to have 6 total and tick him back twice. Yeah, so I spend 2 to gain a charge, and then spend 2 charges to gain 5 Aether, plus 1 there is 6 Aether, 3, 6. I wish I could focus this bridge for you, but oh well. Yeah. Her deck is pretty consistent here. Nemesis, unleashed twice. The player with the most charges loses 3 charges or suffers 3 damage. I don't think I can choose to lose 3 charges because I only have 1 charge. So I think I have to take 3 damage. I'm sure there's an editor's note on screen right now telling you exactly if I'm right or wrong. So, Nemesis. Flame Acolyte. If Arachnos has 3 or less Nemesis tokens, Arachnos gains 1 Nemesis token. Otherwise, any player suffers 3 damage. Okay. Player 1 can kill that really easily on his turn. The question for me is, would it be better to just hit Arachnos? Oh, okay. This actually changes the math a little. So I'm going to hit you for 2. Prep these. I have 3 or 4. I'm going to make it 3. Tick that back 1. So I'm doing a lot of checking to make sure I know what's going to be in my hand on the next, 1. Okay, so I think what we do is we do 2, 4 against this. And then we do 6 and kill it. 8 over here. Because there are 4 separate instances of damage, all affected by +1 damage on cast, which is fun. Then I have 4 just for gaining cards. 9 HP. Okay. I'm going to focus that there. So there are 2 crystals in there. That'll be fine then. Oh, okay. Then it's definitely fine. No. We deal 3 damage. This could be 4 and a charge, or 5 with no charge. I think it's 4 and a charge. You gotta... you know what? I think it's even 3 charges. The rhythm of our deck is messed up somewhere. Were we forced to discard or something somewhere? I don't know. 1. Okay, so we destroy 2 crystals to deal 6 damage. Plus 1 is 7. Okay. When the players would win the game and the World Devourer has not entered play yet, Arachnos loses a Nemesis token and a ritual is complete. When the ritual is complete, resolve the following. Remove the Nemesis deck, all minions and powers from the game. Do not finish resolving any Nemesis cards that were being resolved and when the ritual was completed. Skip the Nemesis draw phase for the rest of the game. Find the World Devourer card that has a tier number equal to the number of Nemesis tokens. Yeah, we can't have -1 Nemesis tokens, I guess. Flip over the ritual track, just to show we're no longer using this, basically. Okay, so we got the easiest World Devourer. The current life of Arachnos +5. At the start of each Nemesis turn, Gravehold takes 3 damage and any player takes 3 damage. So how many turns does that give us? That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. Unless Brahma heals. Healing would give someone an extra turn, I think. Yeah. So that was Consuming Void. Prep that. Place that there. Hold this. Nemesis. Gravehold takes 3 damage. Brahma takes 3 damage. What's next after that? It's going to be another Nemesis turn, huh? Alright. Prep those. We got 1, 2, 3. Nothing really to do with it anymore. Gain a charge, I guess. I mean, feels like a waste of 1 Aether, basically, but... Alright. Do damage. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You know what the craziest thing is? This guy could actually still kill us, because if we just drew 2 more... Yeah. Okay, we need Brahma to go. We need Brahma to go before 2 Nemesis cards turn up. Well, you need to take the damage, because when you're exhausted, you lose a breach. And all your charges. That was a part. And this gains 10 health. Okay, now we're in trouble. I think we've lost. No mercy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, by the way, it took 2 extra damage from residual there. Okay. We somehow lost that. I say somehow. We should have been healing more with Brahma. That escalated very, very quickly. World Devourer is not to be underestimated. Okay, so I'll do all the cleanup stuff on my own time. But round 2 was a failure. And if we lose, we perform the following in order. We add to the barracks by drawing a card from any of the randomizer decks, any treasure deck from which we've already received cards, level 1, or a random mage. And we add the corresponding player card to treasure or mage to the barracks. I'm still feeling like the gems aren't doing what I need them to be doing. I didn't even bother picking up too many of them this time. Branching Radite is actually pretty okay for Zana, but I need something a little better for Brahma. Well, Riddle Spear is okay for Brahma. It just kind of depends on a lot of crystals being around. I really like Riddle Spear. I like Pain Conduit with Reverberating Shock. Catalyst is kind of worthless. Tethered Darts I don't really bother with, because Reverberating Shock is only 1 more, and normally I have a little extra mana. I'm not normally sitting on 3, I'm normally sitting on 4. So I'm thinking what I'm going to be picking up is a random gem. Let's see what we get. Oh, good. If there is a lurking cyanide to any ally's discard pile, gain an additional 1. That's a hard one. First off, it depends on there being a discard pile. It depends on your ally having a discard pile. And it depends on both allies having one, which Brahma can give one to Zana really easily. And then buy one herself pretty easily too. I mean, either way, it's better than Summonite, I think. It's probably better than Branching Radite for its cost as well. It just relies on both players actually buying it. Yeah, I think it's going in the market instead of Summonite. Okay. So I'll add that to our barracks. And then the next thing we do is we would essentially just replay the Nemesis. That's going to take some setup and some work. So I'm going to do all of that pretty much off screen, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this turned out better than the last episode. I'm still improving. I'm using a different software. I'm trying to speak more clearly, more loudly, and not mumble to myself quite as much. And I'm also trying to, say everything that I'm thinking when I'm looking at my hand and my deck, so that I don't have so many awkward pauses to edit out, which is what all those little jittery clips around last time were just awkward pauses of me sitting there and literally just thinking. Okay. So I'll see you guys next time, hopefully. Leave any helpful comments down in the comment section below, and go ahead and leave any unhelpful comments down in the comment section below. I already know I need to be making more use of Brahma's ability, especially in the late game, which is going to mean setting her economy up a little faster, I think. Alright, bye guys.